right, everybody. Well, we'll go ahead and get today kicked off. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm Michelle Johnson, the event marketing specialist here at Process Maker. We're very excited to show to you today how to maximize your institution's workflow using Ellucian workflow powered by Process Maker. Feel free to ask any questions in the Q&A section today. Throughout the sessions, we'll be answering as many as possible later on after the webinar. Let me go ahead and introduce our speakers. Holly Haygood, she is our account executive of higher education, and Dawn Gregory, she is our solutions consultant of higher education. So over to you, Holly.
Thanks, Michelle. So today we're going to be discussing the Ellucian and Process Maker partnership, the benefits of workflow automation, examples of the Ellucian workflow templates we've been working on, demo some of those templates, tell you how to get started, and then have a Q&A and an extra resource page at the end. So what is Ellucian workflow? Well, Ellucian workflow is powered by Process Maker, a platinum technology partner of Ellucian. We offer a best-in-breed cloud-based solution that automates those manual paper-based processes in higher education institutions. And Ellucian workflow is currently being used by 170 Banner and colleague institutions. The three major benefits from the workflow automation we're focusing on today is improving efficiency, reducing errors, to really enhance student experience. So improving efficiency is just automating those manual processes to reduce time spent on administrative tasks, freeing up your staff to focus on higher level activities. By reducing those errors, it improves accuracy and the quality of data that is entering into your systems. And then what the core value in that is enhancing the student experience by getting them faster turnaround times to the requests that they've given you. Here are some of the examples. These are more student facing of what our current Ellucian workflow customers are automating across their campuses. You have anything from admissions to like dual enrollment application, to financial aid loan requests, to registration and records such as transfer credit, add drop courses, change of major, etc. We also offer, like I said, the back end of the house, so employee on and offboarding, a request, leave request for extended amounts of time, and student charge things. The templates that are currently offered for Ellucian workflow customers are these listed here. And Dawn, that Michelle introduced a little bit ago, is going to be demoing some, I think, a couple of these templates for you today. And then we'll tell you how to get started and answer some questions around those. So I will turn it over to Dawn at this time.
Great. Thank you, Holly.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and share my screen with everyone. Okay, so can everyone see that okay? You should be looking at an Ellucian environment.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we're really excited to introduce you to some of the templates that we've built out for Ellucian workflow. We do have two different sets of templates that I'm going to be speaking to today. We have some that we've set up for Ellucian workflow that are integrated with Ethos. Those templates, you will need to engage professional services. We're still working on those. They're a work in progress, but we hope to have those available soon to be, they won't be self-serve like our standalone templates. However, you can work with your Ellucian rep to get set up using those templates with their professional services team. So we'll start with one of those, and then I'm also going to show you a standalone template. The standalone templates are ready right now and available on the website on both Ellucian's website as well as our Process Maker website for Ellucian workflow customers to use. It's, you can download the JSON file and upload it into your environment. So we're going to be looking at those two different sets of templates. I just want to be really clear that the Ethos integration, those templates do require some additional assistance. However, the standalone ones are ready for you to go ahead and use those. We have instructions that come with them so that you can go ahead and start using those either as a standalone process within Ellucian workflow, or once you're ready, going through and setting up the integrations. So to start, I'm just going to kind of speak to how the integration could potentially work for one of the Ethos templates. So you could have the student logged in here and a link where they could go ahead and start, a request to change their major. So from within the Ellucian experience, the student would be able to initiate that request, which would then take them into kick off that Ellucian workflow process. So I'm logged in as a student right now, and you can see that it's brought in all of my information via, that Ethos integration with Banner or Colleague. So I have, started a request to change my major. It's brought in all the information for me as a student, and it also has brought in the information that it has for my current program. These are just the fields that, we've actually connected. Now it's also bringing in the available programs. So I can click here and I can select what I'd like to change my major to. I'm going to go ahead and just select music. It pulls in all the information for that program, as well as a list of advisors where I can select an advisor. And keep in mind that these templates really are, kind of a bare bones starting point for your process. They are meant to be customized and configured based on your specific needs. So any of the fields that you're seeing in here or the email notifications you'll see later in the process, remember those are all, you can customize them, configure them based on what's needed for your specific process. So any step that maybe doesn't happen or any fields that you don't have or don't want the student to see or have access to could be configured to work the way you would like. All right, so I'm just going to enter in a remark, change my major. And I'll go ahead and submit this. You can see I've selected myself as the advisor, just so that when I go to do this task, I'm not logging in and out of this environment. I'll go ahead and click submit now. And we're going to see that the task has been completed successfully. This would end the student part of the process. So I'm going to go ahead and close this window here and then come back in to complete that task that we can see has been routed to me as the advisor selected in that dropdown. So now I have this task and I'm going to go ahead and click in and open this up. We can see all of the history related. I can see everything from the student side. So I can see that it's the request to change their major, all of the student information. I can see what the existing program details are, as well as what they would like to change their major to. I can see their comments, and then I can make any comments. Graduation plan for the student. It pulls in my name, and then I can go ahead and just sign this off. Once finished, I can go ahead and click approve. So that really finishes the process for this. Our student's going to get a notification that this was approved. So I'm just going to hop into my email. I believe I put in this email address, and we're going to wait for that email to come in. But you can see that it was a really, basic process. This is, a basic starting point for a change of major, but any additional approvals that are needed as part of this process for you, that can all be configured to, meet the needs of your specific institution. So this is just the email that comes in for the student, letting them know that their change of major has been approved. And potentially this could feed back into Colleague or Banner to also update that, major for the student in their student record. That finishes that process. So that was our, Ethos integrated process. Like I said, those are still a work in progress. They're not available yet. However, we're, working to make those available. And then you would just want to make sure to reach out to, Ellucian, get with their professional services team so that, they can help with the configuration of the Ethos integration. All right, so that finishes that one. Our next process that we're going to look at is an onboarding process. So this was one that we've heard a lot about, that this is one that quite a few of our, existing customers and institutions we've talked to are really interested in. And same for this one. This can be configured to meet your needs. We're going to show you kind of the basic template that we've configured. This is one of the standalone templates. So this is available both on Ellucian's website and on Process Maker's website. So we have those all available for our Ellucian workflow customers. This one is the employee onboarding process. As I said, it is standalone, so this doesn't currently have any integration with Ellucian or the Ethos. For this, I'm going to go ahead and select an employee ID. It feeds in from a separate onboarding process. So once I select this, it's going to pull in the information that it has in the system in the background tables for this employee ID number. I'm going to go ahead and select a start date. I'll go ahead and select today. Then we have an area to put in anything needed for facilities as well as for IT. I'll go ahead and just check some of these off. So maybe we need a room and keys as well as parking for this new employee. Then we'll go ahead and say assign a PC and an email address. Now I can put in any comments. Since they start today, we'll say, please do this ASAP. And once I'm finished, I can go ahead and submit it. Okay. Oh, it might have timed out. Let me go in and make sure that put through. Yes. Okay. It looks like that was this morning. So I may need to do that again. Let me just kick that off really quick and we'll do the same thing. All right, so this is where we initially started. I'm just gonna grab my, my employee ID. It pulls in all my info. And then I'll go ahead and click my date again, check off a couple things in each section. I wanna make sure this goes through correctly. And submit. Okay, perfect. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and log out here. So we initiated our onboarding request as perhaps the human resources manager. Let's say we're in the registrar's office, since that was an employee that we had, brought on board for the registrar. Now I'm going to go ahead and hop into our email for the demo environment. Okay, so we can see we have 2 emails that have come in. I'll go ahead and open these up. So you noted when I was processing that request, I had some items that needed to be performed by someone within the facilities department. So we had, I think it was the desk and the parking. And then we also had some things that were needed from the IT department. So we have one email that went out, and these are coming to just a shared email box to make it easy for me to go through this demo. But know that one goes to Iris Taylor, and that's our IT designate. So we have that we've submitted this request and a link to go ahead and click in to view the onboarding request details. And then we also have one to Faith Morris, and that's our facilities manager, to go ahead and click and review this. So I'll start with the one that went to facilities. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to log in as the facility manager. So you can see it takes me into that request. I can see all of the employee information. The IT checklist is hidden from me for those activities that IT needs to complete because I don't necessarily need to see those. I can put in any details. So maybe we'll put in room number 316. And maybe we also put in a key number. Then I can add the completion date. We'll put in today. I can also put in maybe a parking sticker, number 54. And then we'll go ahead and complete that. So now as facilities, I've completed those tasks. You'll notice at the bottom, I do have the option to save. So in some cases, it might go to facilities. Maybe they do one of the tasks, but they need to wait on something else. And so they have the option to either save it or go ahead and submit this. I can put in any comments. And then I can go ahead and submit. All right, so that finishes the task for facilities. I'm going to go ahead and log out. Close those 2 windows. Now I'll come back up. So this is the one that went to IT. I'm going to go ahead and click the link here. And this is logging in as our IT manager. So here we see the same thing that we saw really for facilities. However, it's for the IT checklist. So we have the assign PC and assign emails. I can put in any details. So if we have numbers or barcodes associated with these, I can put in that information, as well as a completion date. Same thing, I have the option to save this or submit. I can see all the comments from the HR manager, and I can put in any comments from the IT manager. I'll go ahead, and once that's finished, I'll submit that. I get a thank you for completing. I'm going to go ahead and just hop back into my login screen to log out as the IT manager. And I'll close this. All right, so now those tasks are finished. Now, as someone within HR, I get the notification to review the onboarding details. So, the request initiated in HR or for the HR for the registrar's department. Then once the IT manager and the facilities manager have completed all of their tasks, it goes back to someone within that department to go ahead and review this request. I'm going to click this link. Log in as an HR manager. And I can review this once again. So this is the info I initially put in, as well as all of the information from both facilities and IT. I can see the completion date, as well as any details or notes or comments that they've put in for this request. Once I've reviewed anything, I can go ahead. I have the option to save it and not, move it forward at this time, but I'm going to go ahead and submit it. So that will move it to the next step. That really completes the process at this point. All right, so now I'll go back into my email. So that process has really completed. There's no more approvals needed. It's gone through everything. They have assigned anything that was needed and requested for that new employee. I'm going to go ahead and open up this email. This came to me as that new employee who was just onboarded. So I get this email. It sends me a note about my arrival, as well as I get to see all of the information that was entered. And as stated, this can all be, this is all configurable and customizable. And, you can bring in anything that you would like the employee to see who's being onboarded. So I can see all of that information, and that completes our process. And this is one of the templates that's currently available for, you just download the JSON file, upload it to your Ellucian workflow environment, and you can use it. But you can see that there's not an integration on either end right now. So this is standalone, as well as we have several other templates as part of that collection too, for you to download and upload into your own environment and use them as standalone. And then, if you would like to, you can go through and set up that integration using Ethos. Okay, so Holly, I will go ahead and stop sharing and turn it back over to you.
Great. I think Dawn is going to walk you through how to get started.
All right, great. So we have suggestions. This is kind of, a success plan for getting started with Ellucian workflow that we were really excited to share. This is drawn from the experience of other, of our customers, universities who, have kind of built this out and really managed to spread it across their campus to automate many of their workflows. So this is just, how to get started, what we would like you to know if, you're just kind of starting out with Ellucian workflow. So we think that, defining your list of high priority processes to automate is the first step. This might be, just within your department or across campus. But, if you're using this and you have someone who's highly motivated within your department and, a lot of really great use cases to build this out, that's a great place to start, and just prioritizing those, determining what would be the most beneficial to automate. And we, hi, Tom. Yeah. So yeah, that's a great way to get started with just a priority list, and making sure that you have that set, things that you'll be successful with, and then you can have, that list to move forward on what you could automate. We would then suggest that, maybe instead of starting with a blank slate, you pick one of the templates. Maybe, one of those templates is on your high priority list to automate, or could be kind of configured and customized to, meet the needs of the workflow for some of those items that are on that list that you've prioritized. It really helps to have a starting point with those those pre-configured templates to get comfortable using Ellucian workflow. Even if it's just, configuring processes without the integration or anything, it, helps to practice with those, having those as a starting point. So we would recommend, downloading those, or at least one or two of them, to start using and customizing for your processes, or just having something to kind of play with and go through that with the things that we've provided. And those have instructions how to set them up, configure them so that they work right away. Once you feel comfortable using Ellucian workflow, then you can proceed with some of those things on your list that are deemed high priority for your institution. So you have a starting point with, between the templates as well as that high priority list that you've put together. You should be prepared that, once you're successful with a couple of workflows and you've automated things, especially if you're doing, processes within your own department, but maybe they touch other departments around campus, or other users around campus are going to see those, processes that you've set up and watch your success with that requests are going to come in to automate other things across campus. So, you've kind of started with a couple of maybe processes within your department or campus-wide processes that you think are high priority. You've had some success with that. And then you're going to, want to have a request process probably, or something in place to take in requests from outside of your, specific department, or from, maybe the customers on campus that you serve, to automate other things. And then once, you start to get that, your priorities are probably going to change. So, just having a backlog and a process for, taking in those requests for automation, process automation across campus, and prioritizing them. And we just want to remind everything that, Ellucian does offer professional services. So, should you need additional assistance with anything that comes up as, you're building out these workflows, then you can always reach out to your Ellucian rep to help set you up with that.
Great, thanks, Dawn. So we are now at the Q&A section of our webinar. I know that Sarth has been fielding a lot of these questions for you as we've gone through. There is some contact information for all of us here, and then you'll find that link to the Ellucian resource landing page to be able to access these templates. But before we get to answer any other questions, I would like to introduce Desiree Lynn.
All right, can everyone hear me? So thank you, Holly, for all the information, and Dawn for that great demo. As you can tell, we're very excited about these templates that we're rolling out. Before we get to the questions, let me introduce myself. I'm Desiree Lynn. I'm the Senior Manager of Strategic Alliances, and I've been managing the Ellucian partnership for about 3.5 years on the process maker side. So I am very much focused and interested in helping our brand new and our existing Ellucian workflow clients leverage all the benefits of the Ellucian workflow platform, and also to make sure that folks know about the set of resources that are available to all of our clients. I love seeing so many familiar folks that I met at eLive. So a big thank you to all of you for joining today. And thank you for your interest in the templates. I'm going to be following up personally with all of the existing clients that are attending today. And I would love to help you set up with whatever training, expanded premium training that we offer, as well as get you up and running with any of the templates that are currently available, and the templates that will be continuing to roll out. I did take a note that some folks had some questions on the actual steps involved for finding those templates and installing them. So I'm going to work with the team, see if we can get a short video recording of those steps and send those out to folks that might be interested in that. And then I would also love to introduce Sarth Desai. He's on the call today. He has been fielding questions, and he is our product guru, the product manager on Ellucian Workflow. And thank you, Sarth, for joining and also handling a lot of those questions. And I'm not sure if you want to also say a few words.
Well, I think majority of the folks would know me, but thanks, Desiree, for introduction. I've been fielding some questions. I think I might have missed a few folks. It is a big thread now. It feels like I've lost the chain of how I was trying to respond, but I know there's some time for Q&A that we can get into it. But excited to be here, of course. Templates was one of the most requested feature that, not feature, but like a starter kit sort of a thing that every customer wanted to do, because you wanted some ideas on how to start, whether it's connecting with Ethos to your ERPs, or just to start designing some sort of model, or just to learn from how other institutions have already tried to implement. So just so you know, templates are very generic, right? So it gives you that stepping stone, and the templates are based on what our services team have been developing for a lot of our customers, right? So it has been generalized, but it's available. So that's it, what I would say.
Great. Well, thank you, Desiree and Sarth, for introducing yourself. Sarth, as far as Q&A goes, I see about 5 in the Q&A chat. Would you like me to read those to you and then you try to answer those? Or can you see them?
I can see them, so I can try to answer things which I know the direct answer to. So the first question was, can you change the signature field to be typed? Yes, those fields are changeable. And I think in the example you saw today was just a scenario where a signature was required, but it's not required, right? You can change it. So consider those forms that you saw as a drag and drop ability to create those screens or forms, right? Very similar to how you create Microsoft Forms or Google Forms, right? But essentially, Ellucian Workflow Forms has a lot more elements. There's a lot more complex conditional logics that you can put. You can start small and you can go beyond that. So that's what I would say, and how I would answer that question. The next question was, what Ellucian system do you need to be in place first in order for you to consider workflow? You technically don't need the Ellucian system to be in place for you to automate any process you might have. But if you already have, let's say, Banner or colleague, and you want to bring in data from your ERPs into the screens, right? Like if a student is trying to open a form and you want certain fields to be automatically populated, like student's name and general information, maybe if it's a change major form and you want the student to change the major, but you want to present them, hey, here's your current major, and here are the only available list of majors that you are eligible to. So there might be some conditionals on it, right? So all those data would be driven by your ERP, right? So, and then that's the beauty, right? So while you're building those screens, you could plug into your existing data while creating those screens. So That's exactly how I would put it. I think about there was a sub question. We don't currently have anything that looks like the screen. Maybe you are probably referring to experience. So experience was the first screen Dawn kind of showed you. So experiences are unified platform where all our Ellucian systems come together. So it becomes a one-stop shop for whether you're a student, faculty, or staff. Through that is where you can go everywhere, or not go everywhere, but like, you certain things you can go everywhere, but for certain things are native to experience, so you never have to leave experience. So with that said, I did share some resource on, there's an Ellucian workflow card already on, it's available on experience. So if there are tasks assigned to a student or to an advisor, they would show up there, so they don't have to remember another URL for Ellucian workflow. They will be able to see it on the experience platform. And there was another question around links. Yes, you can, of course, put direct links on the card as well, so that way they can be, the users the students can start filling out. I think that's a good one for that one. Then there's a question from Sarah. Is there an easy way to configure a task to that an approver can send a particular step back to someone in the process for changing? Yes. It's how you design it. So you can, of course, have another button on the screen says request more information. And that button, if the approver selects that, it essentially could be routed to the requester again. So it could be routed to the student again, like, hey, student, the approver is asking for more information. So again, it's essentially how you design the workflow. You can, of course, just keep it sequential, as there's only one way the workflow can go. You can split it based on different conditions. Somebody says yes or no, you can do it that way. But you can have a third option where I need more information. And then when somebody clicks on that button, it essentially goes back to the requester. So that's how you would solve it. So again, a lot of flexibility. It depends on how your institution wants to implement it. But yes, the feature do exist. Is there a timeline to resolve the defect with Ethos User Sync, given that hasn't been resolved? We are actively working on it. For some reason, Ethos User Sync always has some issues. And just so you know, it's where both Process Maker and Ellucian Workflow are coming together and trying to solve the needs. There are nuances that keeps coming in because sync needs to be synchronized. User can also be deleted. You manually delete it from once the user has been synced, or you want to make changes. So there's a lot of complexity that's kind of driving Ethos User Sync issues into much more complex scenario where we are right now. But yes, we're actively working on it. It is currently being tested with Process Maker. It's coming to us so that we can further test it, and stay tuned for more updates on sync. I think the link for templates has been shared. I put it on the chat already. How much does this cost? Please reach out to, I'm assuming the person who's asking is an Ellucian customer. Please reach out to your account executive or your customer success manager who can help you out with the licensing.
Sarah, I can also get you help on working with the reps too, if you would like.
Any plans on Ellucian sending out Ethos integrated version of these templates? Yes, that is what Dawn was also talking about. We are actively working on it. So there are scripts already ready for us. We are trying to, of course, look into it, but yeah, stay tuned. There are more coming out your way. Our follow-up emails send if request sits 4 days. Again, it depends on how you want to configure it. the product has a lot of flexibility in terms of how many times you want to nudge, when do you want to nudge, what kind of nudge you want to do. Is it email? Is it a notification? So there is a configuration on how you would want to do it. Is there a collection of commonly used scripts in Ellucian workflow? Currently, it does not. We do not have a collection, but the collection will be delivered to you via templates. So you would have to work with the templates. But I know there is already a lot of requests coming to us that Ellucian workflow community needs an online forum for them to share code. And I just want to touch on that topic. We have reviewed it extensively with our compliance team, legal team, architecture team. And just because with code, there is a lot of sensitivity, who owns the code, who's liable for the code. There are a lot of reasons why we are not able to create a repository where people can contribute, copy, or I guess fork it, however you want to call it. But we have created a sub forum within Ellucian Workflows community, where when you post a question, you can also tag it as a script. So you could put a code. So if it's coming directly from a customer and you're sharing it and people are looking at it and commenting on it, that is okay. But I'm still navigating through the different routes that I shared right now in terms of being compliant and considering the liability, ownership, etc., and of course security, etc. So, and it's a very tough path to cross. So just so you know, I have been actively working on it for a really long time. There have been incredible amount of discussions happening here at Ellucian to figure out how can we have a code sharing forum for our customers. I'm also out of breath now after talking a lot, but let's see. I will let somebody answer a few questions because they're all feature specific questions.
There was a question that was related to using the templates in this process maker. So I just wanted to clarify that Ellucian Workflow is powered by Process Maker. So Ellucian Workflow is the platform, and all of the templates would be used in that platform. So they're available for use with the platform. And hopefully that clarifies that question there. And then, yes, all of those process templates, as mentioned by Dawn in the demo, that many of those aspects within the process itself are configurable and customizable. So you can utilize the different tools that are available on the platform to customize specific fields, drop downs, capabilities, and also add into the process. So the process design is meant to be a great starting point. It can be modified as you see fit. And it's so flexible that you can have something that's a lot more sophisticated. But this saves time in terms of having a process design to react to and a good starting point to springboard from.
There was a question on value-based assignment. I do want to bring up some update on that. So we did release Office 365 modern authentication features in this release that we did yesterday or day before if you're on that side of the world. But our next release is going to include value-based or variable-based assignment, and that release you can expect from us probably next 30 to 40 days. So we're actively working on it. Process Maker is aware of it as well. So again, it's one of the things where we're partnering again to build that feature. So stay tuned. So just so you know, that's our next priority.
And I see a lot of good questions about specific use cases and also some of those capabilities. What I would like to do is gather all of those and then work with Sarth and the rest of our team to come up with content and be able to have webinars that are specific to those features and also the different use cases that you guys are asking about. So just considering the time and also the focus of this webinar being the templates, we'll make sure we gather all of that information for upcoming webinars.
There are some questions on the chat I will also want to answer. So Jeffrey Tennis brought up, can you allow a team decision where any one person of the group out of the 5 or 4 can approve an item? So yes, group assignments is a current feature. You can create approval groups and a task can be assigned to a group. You can make it as a claim based. Out of the 4 or 5 in the group, they can claim it and then they can approve it. So yes, group assignment does exist. Can clients only use templates in this process maker? No, you can create your own templates. You can, and maybe let me put it this way: process maker and Ellucian delivered templates are a starter kit. They're templates, so you install them or you import them, and then you modify it based on your use cases. But there are features where you can create shared components, and shared components help you by, I think there was a really interesting Ellucian workflow session at eLab this year by Sam Houston, who gives you a really nice tips on how to scale with Ellucian workflow. Once the recording is available, which I know the eLab team is currently making it available. Once that is available, I'll share with the community so you get an opportunity to see it. I think it was, he was a funny guy. Yes, I would say that. He was so funny that he inspired me that I should make my sessions funnier. He kind of challenged me. That's what I took from the session, along with, of course, the content. I'm not going to take away the importance of the content, but that session does talk about how you can create snippets of forms and leverage those form components into 15 or 20 of the workflows that you might have, right? So it is how you design it, right? So it's like, you know, how you think of microservices, think of forms as building blocks. Let's say you have one field that is just bringing major, or there's one field that's allow person search, right? Now you just create that component of a screen or a field, and then that could be plugged into any process you want, right? So that's how you can scale with Ellucian workflow. So you can build those building blocks and start using them in a variety of workflows. I'm going to see there are more questions. SMS, I'm going to let maybe Process Maker talk about SMS. I know we have had discussions on SMS, but how does SMS notification work?
So right now I would say like natively, no, we don't have the ability to send SMS. You would probably need a license for a provider to send out those SMS messages. If they had the capability for API integration, that's something we could potentially integrate with to send those out. But it's not something that's by default in Ellucian workflow or Process Maker. Yeah.
Awesome. There's a question. If you're using Colleague, does it have to be SaaS enabled with Ethos? Yes. Ellucian workflow is a SaaS product. It can only talk to your ERPs via APIs. I know Colleague also has Pro APIs, Pro Code APIs. So you could go either route. Template link was shared in the chat again, so I'm just going to mark this as done. Don't see any more questions.
I don't either. Thank you, Sarth, Dawn, and Desiree for answering those. At this time, I will hand it back over to Michelle. We really do appreciate y'all being here and hope you get as much out of the templates as you can.
Well, that was great. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I just want to thank Dawn, Holly, Sarth, and Desiree for your time and for giving as much feedback as possible and making today successful. And we will be sending out the recording of today's session. I'll look out for it tomorrow. And that's it for now. Thank you all so much and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Great to see everyone there, all the interest.